is our fifth live session, and we are trusting in our becoming today. Who are you becoming, and how can we discern who we truly want to become in this stage of our lives, whether you are empty nesting or in retirement or near retirement? I like to think that as we grow older, the best is yet to be. It hasn't passed. There's plenty of time for our happily ever after. And if you haven't spent adequate time with that mindset, this may be the first time you're thinking of it. And that makes me happy. So, hi, Catherine. Hello there, my friend Cheryl. I'm glad to see you two here. But every single day of our lives, whether we're 25, 45, 65, or 85, we are writing our lives in the here and now. We are making those small, big, medium choices that are all adding up to who we are becoming. Every conversation, every video we make, every time we choose to exercise or not, if we choose to journal or not, all of these things add up to make ourselves step into that person we are forever becoming. Hello, Miss M. So good to see you. Hi, hi, hi. I'm so grateful for this time. I'm so grateful for this week. And I am really delighted that you all have given me some of your time. Yay. It's been really, really fun for me. And I hope that it's also been really, really fun for you. So, with all of that about how we're becoming every day, there is a piece that is quite practical that I would like to put into the equation. And that is that who you continue to become depends on the things that you notice, the things that you pay attention to, where you invest your time, effort, and energy. So I'm curious how that lands to you. I would like for you to think for a moment, and I have my notes over here. Hi there. Good to see you, Preppy Forever. Haven't met before. It's good to see you. We're journaling tonight. We're talking about trusting in our becoming, trusting on who we are developing into, who we are growing into at whatever our age is. So, I would love for us to think about before we get started with our writing is attention and noticing and investing in our time, effort, and energy. I would love for you to think about where are you paying the most attention? And I know that we all women have so many responsibilities, and it's important to look at, yes, we have to work, yes, we have to care give, yes, we have to take care of our health, we have to watch our finances, we have to. And get to choose to spend our attention when we're not doing those necessities. I know that my life looks very different now than it did when I had when I was caregiving and when I was in intense grief times and when I was ill myself. It's difficult to make choices because so many of those choices are made for you. But even in those circumstances, when we are ill or when we are grieving or we are caregiving or we are having whatever circumstances, we have the choice to look at it from whatever perspective we choose to. Sometimes that's easier said than done, I will confess, for me as well, who's going through a health flare right now. Today was just like, was not feeling like doing anything. And that was a choice. I did stuff, but I mean, I took like a good hour where I was simply reading, and reading is important for my work anyway. But I felt like that was restorative. So I was paying attention to the restoration process. I wasn't ignoring my need for restoration. So, hi, Jules. Good to see you. Hi, Red Boy. Are you a gamer? My son's a gamer. Nice to meet you. Thank y'all for keeping in touch with each other. So here's what I would like us to write to first. How this works here for those of you who are new. I share a prompt. This is our warm-up prompt. So it's our first prompt of the night. Hi, Swan. I'm doing well. I'm feeling better. I have done some restoration work today with myself. Um, so the warm-up is where we think, and I'll ask you the question, you can put it in the chat, your beginning thought. So the first part of the warm-up is lately I've been giving too much attention to. Lately, I've been giving too much attention to, and that means, okay, so I'll tell you what I've been giving too much attention to, dot, dot, dot. And the other one is what deserves more of my attention is, what deserves, and I'm writing it down, more of my attention is, because I'm going to be writing to this also as our warm up comes along. We write stream of consciousness style, which means we let our pencil or pen float across the page. We type on our keyboards, however we're choosing to write, and we write without thinking about what's coming next. We allow ourselves the freedom to let the words flow. So that's the style of writing that we use. For some of you who aren't ready to write and are simply holding space with us, that's fabulous and fine as well. So, does anyone want to put in the chat a word or two? Lately I've been getting but giving. Lately I've been giving too much attention to. Anyone have a response to that question? And then what deserves more of my attention is dot dot dot. Okay. So I will tell you right up front, what deserves more of my attention is my tree hugging book. My tree hugging book. When I am working at 100% efficiency, I have time in my daily schedule to work on the tree hugging book. Have I taken that time? Not for the last 3 days. What deserves more attention is that tree hugging book because it will impact people in a large way. The whole tree hugging experiences that I do right now already get people talking and smiling and thinking and connecting more. So when I get the book done, so I look and I think, oh, there's some fear attached to that. I recognize that. And lately, I've been giving too much attention to. Anybody have something they could say? What are you giving too much attention to? Lately, I've been more to YouTube because it helps to distract myself and it's just I've been dealing with. Yes, I was going to say hanging out on YouTube can be therapeutic. It can be therapeutic. It can make us feel connected to humanity, which is a good thing. And Um, it is helpful to recognize what is the right amount of time. Yeah. Your Etsy shop deserves more of your attention. I feel you, Jules. And lately, I've been giving too much attention. I'd love to hear your thoughts here. Lately, I've been giving too much attention to all of the what ifs that I don't have answers to. And I have let both of these things, not finishing my book or not even like working on it, giving it the attention it deserves. I know that's from fear. And the lately I've been giving too much attention to worrying about things that I don't even know the answers right now. And so what happens is I get into this frenzy that usually leads to me not focusing on what I ought to be, whether that's preparing for this, or whether it is preparing for a client call, or whether that means I didn't do my writing practice that day. All of these things are important because this is who we are. I am becoming. I am becoming a person who has written and published and successfully gotten my books into the hands of more people. That is who I am becoming. Yes, I have published books before, and I feel like this tree hugging book is super important. So I'm becoming the person who has this tree hugging book out. I am becoming a person who is better at dealing with her health than ignoring it. So that's what we mean when we talk about becoming. Miss M says, I need to give my full attention on grounding yourself and just sit still and just breathe. It's really helpful to be grounded, Em. I wholeheartedly agree. And I find that when I do that work with grounding and breathing and quiet, then the other things get done. I feel I have a firm foundation to do the rest of the work or do the rest of whatever has to get done, or it just makes me feel more cheerful. Vicky says, "What if my 2 ebooks, my pause program, and my 100 tea bag art ways?" Um, yeah, I was thinking, I was looking at your work last night, Vicky. You've done some amazing, create some amazing stuff. And I would love to see where you will go with those things. And Catherine agrees that she spends too much time on YouTube. One of the things about YouTube is we all want to succeed on YouTube. That's why we're here, those of us who are content creators and are on this video today. So let's take some time to write. We'll do it fairly quickly. We'll journal for 2 minutes because what will happen when you let your pencil go across the page is that you will get more insights into these questions. You have spoken them, you've tapped them into the chat. People have heard you. You've been witnessed. So now it's time to go more deeply. You might want to put at the end, lately I've been giving too much attention to, for me, worrying about things I have no control over because I'm scared. And then go deeper with that. So what's up with that, Julie? How can you shift out of that? How has that come up before? What would be a better choice? So think of all of that. What deserves more of my attention is the tree hugging book, because there's people out there waiting for that tree hugging book to come out. Paying more attention to my health, getting better. So I'm eating different foods and my body feels better when I do that. But when I get upset, I tend to just drag down. Okay, so hopefully you're getting the point. All right. Jules says, I feel like I'm paying too much attention to work, but I haven't figured out how to live without it yet. I know. That's true. That's true. It's important. It's important to live. All right. So let's take our 3 deep breaths. And I did not write the prompts in. So you're just going to have to go without the prompts on the bottom because I forgot that I didn't do that. So we're going to do the experiment without the prompts being pinned. So here we go. Let's take a nice deep breath in and let it out. Even if you are not journaling right now, I would ask that you do this breathing anyway because you will feel better. Breathe in and let it go. Third, beautiful breath in. Lately, I've been given too much attention to. Breathe that in. And then breathe out. What deserves more of my attention is. If you run out of ideas as your pencil's moving across a page, just repeat the prompt. And we'll write for 2 minutes or so. I'm going to keep my eye on the clock and I will tell you when it's time to come back into the circle. Lately, I've been giving too much attention to, and or what deserves more of my attention is. If you haven't started writing, please do so now. Hi, Madden. Good to see you. Here's the prompts we're working with. What deserves more of my attention is ... Or lately, I've been giving too much attention to. We have about a minute more. If you'd like to sit with us and breathe. That's good too. Feels so good to breathe. What deserves more of our attention? We have about 30 seconds to go, so begin winding down with your writing. What deserves more of my attention is. What deserves more of my attention is. All right. Some of us want to pay more attention to good manners, kindness, yes. So now that we're coming back into the circle, if you would tap on your screen or put an emoji in the comments so that I know that you're back here with us. I was surprised at the first thing that popped up for me. Okay, Miss M, thank you. I've been paying too much attention to the uncertainty about my current health situation. I need someone to talk to, but I don't want to be a bother. This is the more deeper part of the problem. Yes, absolutely. And I'm right there with you, Miss M. I'm feeling the same way about my health issue. So I totally understand. I totally understand. Um, and so if you could find someone to talk to, um, I hope that you will reach out to people because one of the things that I tell people when people say, the only time I'm bought, like people will say, I'll say, why didn't you ask me about that? Why didn't you reach out to me? And people will say, because I didn't want to be a bother. And I will say in response, the only time that it's a bother is when you don't reach out to me, because then I don't know. And then I don't know how I might be of help. So if you have your mom or a friend or um, anyone, I'm sure I know that you have friends. I know a lot of people out here, especially, really do love you. So anyone else? I was surprised by my own writing. Um, and it came up really quickly. I just wrote, and I didn't write much because I was watching the comments. Paying attention to your nervous system to regulate your health. Yes, Vicky, I agree. I agree. I was thinking about that today too. Um, with my health situation, I got an EKG today for my upcoming surgery. I and I know they're easy. I know that it's like it's just they have to do that. But I could feel myself escalating. And even when I looked back over the week in the first couple days of the lives, my speech was really pressured. And I'm like, ooh, my nervous system is up. Jules says, I've been paying too much attention to how others may perceive me. That's a big one. From Madden says, trying to pay more attention to staying outside and your own boundaries. Yes, good. It's good to be aware of your boundaries and also sticking up for your boundaries. Catherine says, Ms. M, have you heard friends or family say that they didn't want to be a bother? What did you think or feel when you heard that? Great question, Catherine. Hello, Kathleen. We just finished our first warm up prompt. So we're talking about the warm up prompt where we wrote, lately I've been giving too much attention to, and what deserves more of my attention is. And a lot of us are dealing with nervous system regulation, concerns of being a bother. So we use things to distract us. Um, we're talking about attention and boundaries, holding our boundaries, being outside more. Yes, and it's our own thoughts. That's like you that's just like what Jules said. Jules was talking about paying too much attention to how others may perceive me. I do that also. I do that also. The same thing. Sometimes it takes a lot of courage to ask other people for help. That's a hard one. And one of the things that I learned from my theater work is that oftentimes people really love to be asked to be a part of something, even if that part of something is simply you. So purely you, because like I said, so many people love you. I wrote on mine, I said, what deserves more attention is, and I wrote dialogue, finding safe, big-hearted people to play with. I think I'm doing that, but um, creating that space for big-hearted people. And look what's happening. It's almost like I pulled that in right here. Um, that's Catherine is giving some thoughts in M's direction, which is helpful, hopefully. Sure that it is. It's good to be heard. Cheryl says, what deserves more of my attention is cleaning and decluttering my room. Yes. Vicky said, saying hello. You're home. Uh-huh. Um, It's good. It's good to know these things, and what I'm really appreciating is the variety of things that needs our attention, because we're going to go into the writing wisdom section, where oftentimes, and I talk about this a lot, we think of things as being like a mountaintop experience. Everything has to be this huge thing. Like I need to write a best-selling novel in 3 weeks, and it has to be best-selling, and I have to get it done in 3 weeks, and it has to be the great American novel, when instead, we can pay attention to writing a sentence, making a journal entry once a week if we can't do it every day. When we pay attention, it doesn't have to be an either or. Either I do this big gesture or I do nothing. It can be some place in the middle. And it can also be something that, because we're not putting so much pressure on ourselves, it's easier to return to it. There's not so much pressure to do that activity. Attention is also one of the purest forms of love. Attention is noticing deeply. Attention is asking questions carefully, and attention is loving. Love in action. The other thing with writing and journaling is that it helps to spend time with language and words. So if you do have time to read, it will really help you on so many different levels, whether you're reading a novel or reading a nonfiction. If you have a subject that you want to know more about, if beyond watching videos, you're actually reading, and also reading and listening to books at the same time is really helpful. Miss M said she was crying today on and off for an hour. So sorry to hear that, Miss M. And there's no shame in crying. I say that as someone who cries a lot. It's important. Crying is healing. Um, Anne Lamott says crying, laughing. I know I said it crying. It's carbonated holiness to me, laughing and crying. Jules says writing deserves more of my attention. Natalie Goldberg totally called me out in her book this morning. I write every day, but I don't dig deep. I think these sessions are helping to wake you up. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that, Jules. I totally agree. And I love Natalie Goldberg. If you haven't read her book, Writing Down the Bones, when I finished it, I cried. Speaking of crying, when I finished reading Writing Down the Bones, I cried. I closed it, and then I started from the beginning all over again. She's amazing. Vicky says, I do not have a counselor degree. I have a nursing degree in science. I may be able to direct folks where to get help. That's excellent, Vicky. It's like me. I worked in the mental health department. I can direct people where to go. I'm not licensed to help people, but I can help to, and I'm also a coach. So I can help direct people to places to go and also chat with them, but not in a clinical sense, though. Yes. Hi. Nana Five's in the house. Good to see you. All right, more it's good to see you all. Thank you all too for liking this video. I really appreciate that. So the conversation's really rich and really good and really helpful. And I'm so glad for those of you who were able to write in the last prompt. And as we were talking about paying attention and what we want to pay more attention to, our next prompt is one of my favorite. And there's 11 people and 11 likes. I love 1111. So everybody make a wish. Um, one of the hashtags that I made up when I was on Periscope was hashtag more of that, please. I want more of that, please. I would like more of that, please. And so when we are becoming who we are becoming, which is getting better and better no matter what age or stage of life you're in, what would you like more of? What is it your heart's desire for more of in your life? Let's segue into that as we grow into who we are becoming. So, looking ahead into the future next week when we're no longer meeting at 8 p.m. Eastern time, whatever time it is in your time zone. But what do you want to have in your life? Who do you want to be in your life? What do you want to experience? Do you want more peace? Do you want more joy? Do you want more connections? Do you want more creativity? Do you want more space in your life? Do you want to feel better? Do you want to grow into the answers that you're seeking? Any and all of those things are right. But where, okay, good. Yes, there. Very good, Nana. Yeah. Nana of Five says, a lot of my devotions are about becoming. Fantastic. Fantastic. I love that synchronicity. So, what we're going to do in this prompt is a little bit deeper than usual. Jules just synchronistically again said, I want to go deeper. Okay, so this is your prompt, and we'll take it briefly, and then I would love for you to take this home with you and to work on this some more at home. But I would like to think of who you are becoming through this next year. So, a year from now, we will be getting into the middle of 2027. So, we've worked in the past days with memory. Now we get to look into the future. What do you want more of that, please, 1 year from now? And it's a really fun way to play with this, but I would like you to start to write a thank you note to yourself from your future self, who you are becoming self, to yourself right now. It's a little bit of writing wisdom too. One of my favorite techniques with to work with people is to write letters. And so to write a thank you letter, you'd write, Dear Julie, or Dear whatever your name is, thank you so much for following through with working on the Tree Hug book. Thank you so much for not being afraid to dive into those emotions that come with that period of your life where you lost as much as you lost. Thank you for becoming more brave every day by taking the action that you needed to take and you were consistent with it. Thank you so much for that. That's me just riffing. I haven't written anything yet. Miss M wants more peace and wants to feel better. Excellent. Excellent. And so, thinking about wanting more peace and wanting to feel better emotionally, how can you step into that? And you said it earlier, Miss M, and I wholeheartedly agree. Taking more time in stillness. And if you write, if you put your energy onto the page, it will stop getting stuck in your brain. That's one of the joys of writing, is that it takes it from your head, especially when you breathe it into your heart and it comes out onto your page. So let's step into the concept of a thank you note. A thank you note to yourself. What are you thanking yourself from the future, your future self, into the present? The other way to look at that is if you don't want to write a thank you note, here's the alternative is the story I want to tell about this season of my life. So this next year, we could just take it this next quarter. So the story I want to tell of summer 2026 is, and that's what I'm going to work on. The story I want to tell about the summer of 2026 is remember to go into your senses. I see, I hear, I feel, I taste, I touch. Okay, so I'm going to breathe us into this as we are becoming who we are meant to become. The story I want to tell of the summer of 2026 is. So let's breathe that in and let it go. Breathe in. The story I want to tell is, and begin to write. The story I want to tell is, breathe in and let it go. I'll be watching the clock and I'll call you back at 34 minutes. That's about 3.5 minutes away. My future self is grateful that if you want to write the thank you note version, please begin to write. The story I want to tell about the summer of 2026 is, we have about a minute more. So please begin winding down with your thoughts and your observations of the story that you want to tell for the rest of the season and or the rest of the year. All right, you're complete that phrase, that sentence. The story I want to tell the summer of 2026 is, I was experiencing a gallbladder attack and I chose to have surgery. Turning 30 was not a fabulous start, but I was a champ through all of it. That's beautiful, Miss M. I love that. I also love that you made that choice, which is ironically our closing prompt for today is about making choices and choosing our stories, choosing who we are becoming. It's beautiful, beautiful writing. It'd also be fun to write some poetry around that, wouldn't it? And I wonder if we look at turning 30, making empowering choices, how that's really a blessing to future and Miss M, to every iteration of Miss M that is to be. I missed that. Vicky said she is reading Farm Anatomy by Julia Rothman. That sounds really good. I just started a new book today, that's called We're All Adults Here by Emma Straub. It's funny. It's very funny. Nice short chapters. Okay, if you want to put a heart, tap the screen with hearts or put an emoji in the chat so I know you're here. Okay, thank you, Miss M. I'm so glad you came by. And your prompt is I choose. If you want to wake up tomorrow morning and write I choose dot 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 and just make a list of what you choose, That's your assignment. That's your next chapter, your becoming assignment. So thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate your presence. Thank you. Okay. So as we come to the final prompt, as we trust our becoming. Oh, hi, Rhonda. It's okay. Being here at all, it's perfect because we are stepping into our final prompt of the night. Because and you can watch the replay or the recap. By the way, that reminds me. Our recap, you might have said, Julie, where's today's recap for yesterday's video? That will be coming out tomorrow. And then the recap for this video will be on Sunday. I'm mixing it up a little bit, doing some more testing, doing some more experimentation. Jules says, the story I want to tell is that I overcame all the weird obstacles the universe threw my way. Recorded a vlog episode every day while making important friends along the way that I found my voice. Very good. Excellent. Love that. I love that. And that is so true. And it has been great to, if you guys don't follow our friend Jules, she's it's really cool to watch her stuff. I think you'd really enjoy it. She's very vulnerable and I totally appreciate that. Cheryl says, oh, very good. The story I want to tell about the summer of 2026 is our 27th anniversary in the Florida Keys and snorkel to see the underwater statue of Christ. It's wonderful. That'll be a great story to tell. Your 27th anniversary in the Florida Keys. I can't wait to hear and read about that. I didn't know there was an underwater statue of Christ, so I learned something new. That's beautiful. Oh, you ran out of ink, you found another pen. That's a great short poem right there. I ran out of ink. I found another pen. That's kind of like becoming, isn't it? A new iteration, the new version of ourselves, the new chapter, the new season. So, as I said, the recap for this recap will come up on Sunday morning. I've also been doing the experiment of posting on the weekends to see if it's true what the gurus say that the weekend um is really slow and that don't need to post on the weekends. I found my weekend postings to do quite well. Hi, Pam. Good to see you. That's okay. We've been talking about who we are becoming, and so many wonderful people are in here really working and writing their hearts out. It's been beautiful and sharing. If you look, I think you can see the comments that came before you walked in, but Miss M had some really fabulous insights, as did Jules Musings, amazing stuff. Vicky was sharing as always, even though she lost her pen and wrote a haiku without realizing it, I think. It's really been a potent session. And we are going to close out with a very simple prompt of I choose. And the last prompt is what I was just reading of is the story I want to tell of summer of 2026 is. So at the end of the summer, what is the story we want to say that we told? Okay, Nana says, I don't have a journal, but Joyce Meyer talks about it. So I just ordered, okay, good. I just ordered a journal through at Amazon. And I just happen to have the journal that I published right here. It's a guided journal. It's not a blank journal, it's a guided one. And I have a 365 journal that will be coming out in the fall too, which is also it's a prompted. So these are all prompts. This is called the Business Growth Journal for the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur by Hello Me. It's very helpful. Very, very helpful. It has themes. I love it. I really love it. I really wrote it for myself and knew that it would help other people. And I get really good feedback on it. So there's that journal. I'll read a little bit of what I wrote in case you would like to, those of you who just popped in, if you want to think about the story I want to tell about the summer of 2026 is a story of growing, the story of someone who didn't give up, who allowed herself to be frustrated and feel all the feels, because that is the best. Feeling all the feels is the best part of me. I didn't write very clearly. The very best. I want to continue. So your free flow writing doesn't have to make sense. It. Oh my goodness. I'm getting text from my ex there. I want to continue to be a leader, to continue to grow into my shell. I want to continue to grow into my shell. I want to continue to tell the story of waking up to more of that, please. That's a hashtag I made up years ago. More of that, please. I want more of that, please. I want more of that, please. So I want to continue growing into that shell. I had a picture of a turtle growing into the turtle shell and leaving off all of that stuff that isn't so great. Being okay with it all. Okay, Vicky said this journal session has been a real booster for me. It helps me grow motivation, stay connected to what matters, and keep moving forward one step at a time. The pause method you developed for yourself too, so you understand that. I had a coaching program that I created called Passion Crafting, and it used free flow writing. It used also some verbal stuff, with coaching. And it was really cool. I had a website called fivepassions.com, and I created it because I thought it would be cool. If I was a client of myself, I would have enjoyed that. And I'm so glad that this helped you, Vicky. The other thing is that we will be coming back together again if you would like to in July. If there's any themes you would like me to take on, this was about trusting. Everything was trusting yourself and trusting the process. We did trusting your memory. Remember that? It feels like years ago, but that was just on Tuesday. We trusted our memories. And I know for some of us that was hard. There's some memories I don't want to go into. And we trusted ourselves and we kept coming back. We did trusting your curiosity, trusting your heart, and then trusting your becoming. So if you ever want to come back and watch these lives and go through the prompts again, yay. Same thing with the recaps. I have some secrets coming up that I'll be working on between now and July to continue to develop this material. So I'm really grateful that all of you were here for this. I thank you so much. Trusting. This has all been about trusting. That's been the title. Trust is one of my hardest issues. I have a lot of trust issues. So again, creating for what I need as well as what I hope is helpful to all of you too. More of that, please. More trusting, please. So if any of you would be interested in a particular subject for our July sessions, we'll be doing another 5-day writing workshop. Um, what I found in the past is writing 5 minutes a day for 5 consecutive days makes a difference. We've written more than that because I wanted to try out this hour-long thing, but we did write probably total more than 5 minutes, and I hope that it was helpful. I hope that it was helpful to you. And I think it will get more helpful as we go along and as I develop these materials more, and they'll always be available for you. So and if you have any ideas, just send me an email, juliejs at Creative Life Midwife. I would love to see your thoughts and your insights. You've been super, super, super helpful. So let's go back to that last prompt and see if you would like to be brave enough to put anything into the chat, but I choose. What do you choose? And then the homework or what you can take with you in the future is the next beautiful thing. The next beautiful thing I will give my attention to. Okay, sure. I was thinking, Cheryl, that I should write that down because I've done that before. I'll try to explain it. The next beautiful thing I will give my attention to. I'm writing that down too. I have that in my notes. The thank you note. So, this is a technique that I've used quite a bit in the past where you write a thank you note for from who you will be a year from now. So, Cheryl, for your 28th anniversary, Cheryl, looking back at your 27th anniversary, Cheryl, since it's this time of year. And it's like you look back over the last 12 months and you'll be paying attention to things during that time. And so, what you do is you write yourself a thank you note, and I'll write it as if to myself. I'll say, Dear Julie, I started writing it earlier. Dear Julie, thank you for working on the Tree Hug book 1,000 words a day during the summer so that you could get it to your editor and you could get a pub date for it Excellent work. I'm so thankful that you did it. I'm so thankful you became a person that follows through even when you're scared. That's impressive. This is me just riffing again. That's impressive. I know that you didn't think you had it in you. I know that you weren't feeling well, and you showed up and you did it anyway. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for bringing your words to the table when you didn't know if they were valuable or if anyone really cared. Thank you, Julie. You kicked some serious butt. That's the sort of thing that I mean. So it's just writing a thank you note. None of that has happened yet. But if I'm looking at what I'm choosing to do, what I'm paying attention to now, and continue to build upon that, that when I look over my shoulder a year from now, that's what I will see. And that's what I will be thankful to myself for. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And if you want to tap on the screen or something to say yes, no, say okay. And what your question helps me to do, Cheryl, is it helps me to think, okay, I need to develop that more. I need to develop that more. Yes, you're welcome. And I would say one of the things I learned this week is that this time slot, 8 o'clock, I'm tired. And after doing 8 o'clock all week long, I'm gonna write a thank you note to myself tomorrow morning for this last week because y'all, I'm getting to be Bakersfieldian now, y'all. I didn't know if I could do it or not. And there were times today, as I told you earlier, I had an EKG today, and I was just like a little bit of a mess today because I let my brain go into what's coming up that's scary, that's the unknown. And I showed up anyway, just like I said, I showed up. I did my thing. So whenever I work on that book, I feel better that I worked on that book. And I remind myself, oh, yeah, I love this book. That's good. It's good to start with an ebook, Vicky. I started with an ebook too. The story that I talked about yesterday about when I was a county bureaucrat, I think it's really hard to imagine people who know me now because I'm so free spirited. But when after I quit that job, I wrote a book about quitting that job, and it was called, and it was an ebook, and it was an ebook before Kindle was around. I was such a pioneer. But it was called "Don't Let It Take Two Death Threats" because I quit my job because I got two death threats. Why did I wait all that time? Why? I didn't need to. Anyway, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate and value you. I hope that you'll use the recaps if you need a brush up or if you want to review the content. And I think, Cheryl asked a question about the thank you note. I think that I'll make a whole separate video on that sometime next week. I might even make a video um about ebooks, kind of publishing history, starting with an ebook. Um, yeah. So thank you all. I could just sit here and say thank you to all of you all night long. And instead, Freya's saying, let me out, please. And I have text from other people saying, I'm nervous, please talk to me. What was I saying about women? We take care of other people all the time. All right. Thank you so much. And I look forward to the next time I catch you on video or anywhere. And I look forward to the next time we do this. It'll be the end of July. I'll be letting you all know. So keep your eye out. Take good care.